Recently, both the House and the Senate approved a $740 billion budget for the United States military, the Pentagon, for 1 year. $740 billion for one single year, just like the year before. And the last several years when they have been receiving more than $700 billion every single year. But somehow, even though they're getting more than $700 billion every single year, healthcare for our active duty troops, for our veterans, is just too doggone expensive. And so the Pentagon in recent days has actually been going back and forth about whether or not to just slash billions of dollars from the VA, from the military benefits of active duty troops, the ones that we're still keeping over there in the Middle East for absolutely no reason other than intimidating other countries and, to come back bruised, broken, or dead. And we're going to cut their health care because it's too much money every year out of the $740 billion that the Pentagon has. They can't afford an extra $2.2 billion for health care for these men and women that we are intentionally putting in harm's way for absolutely no benefit to the United States whatsoever. They're not out there fighting back an oppressor that seeks to overthrow the United States. Such a thing doesn't actually exist right now in the world. They're not out there fighting to protect America's best interest because freedom is under attack. I know Republicans love to say those kinds of things, but it's simply not the case. They aren't out there fighting because we need to win a fight. They're out there fighting to protect the military-industrial complex that feeds off of that $740 billion a year. And as I said, they're coming back bruised and broken or dead. And $2 billion out of the $740 billion they get every year is too much for healthcare. Oh, but don't worry. Defense Secretary Mark Esper, he said recently that, actually this is from Politico, Esper and his deputies have argued that America's private health system can pick up the slack for any service members who lose coverage. So don't worry, if you lose your actually very good military health care, you can go to that system that's screwing over the rest of us. Isn't that fun? The one where your insurance company doesn't get to negotiate prices with drug companies like the military's healthcare plan does. So not only do you have to go to crappy insurance that you're going to pay a heck of a lot of money for, you're also then going to pay more for your doctor's visits. You're going to pay more for your prescriptions. You're going to pay more for everything. Let's look up. Okay, look. Let's see, $740 billion a year, and we just want $2 billion. So what percentage would that be? That is 0.2% of the budget. 0.2% of the military's yearly budget, and that is apparently too much to pay for these men and women that we are sending overseas, getting them killed, having them kill other people who do not pose a threat to the United States. And in spite of all that, in spite of the rise in PTSD, in spite of the rise in people coming back missing parts of their body, we're now looking at them and saying, we only have $740 billion to spend this year, and we would rather spend it on fancy new cool tanks and guns and planes. So you're going to have to go into the crappy insurance pool. Best of luck with that, because we don't even pay you really enough to be able to afford private health insurance.